with Theresa.
I
I feel
don't
like,
know.
where do we start with Theresa? Like it's some
How
sort
do
of
we solve a
problem. You're the
problem
problem
like
child.
Teresa?
I've
Yeah.
really enjoyed like watching you and creating your work and sharing your work more. And I mean, obviously that's why I wanted to talk to you today. Um, but it's like I know we shared a situation where we were both very unhappy in our particular jobs and our careers, and and it's been just like kind of lovely to see you like putting a lot of energy into something that is for you and that is
Yeah.
something that you love and that brings you joy, and that now you're sharing that with other people, you know. It's been really cool to watch that.
Yeah. It's not something I ever thought I would do. I never got to take an art class really. I took one art class like when I was about 13 or so, and that was amazing. But our school was so tiny, and that was pretty much the only chance I had to take an art class. And then in college, I was too intimidated to take any art classes or even think of myself as someone who was an artist, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, there's just a lot of gatekeeping around that
Right.
word.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, so it wasn't until about 2018 when I was like, hey, I'm going to be more creative, like intentionally, because I was
Yeah.
floundering a lot. And it was like, it's time to stop worrying about what other people think, what I think. Just do it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of creativity just kind of bursting, and it was very healing and very empowering to just
Hmm.
create.
Yeah.
Even when I look back at that stuff now, I'm like, oof. Um,
Yeah.
but but at the time, just putting paint on paper or drawing or collaging or whatever it was, it's so important to have an outlet, whatever that outlet is. If it's a documentary you're making, great. If it's an art, an art, it's an
Yeah.
art. Uh, uh, painting, sculpture, whatever it is. Play around, find out what works for you. And
Yeah.
I just kept trying different things. And mostly I was watching other people on YouTube make things. And I was
Hmm.
like, oh, that's amazing. And I was like, I'm going to try that. And I did.
Yeah.
And it was great. And I kept trying other things and kept practicing and kept doing more and more and more. And I was just sharing what I was making. I was like, here's what I made today, without any kind of pressure on myself to accommodate anyone's opinions,
Yeah.
and without any pressure to sell something or be something, just to say, yeah, I'm an artist. And I think that's part of what helped me get out of a bad situation,
Hmm.
um, in my day job,
Yeah.
um, and
Do you
and
think
help
that
me.
that shift in your perspective is what helped you get out of that? Is that what you're saying, or what it
Was
was
part
it?
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But, well, I think part of it was realizing, you know what, you're not your job.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was big. That was big. And realizing too that, I deserve respect in the workplace because I'm a person, and I'm there to do a
Hmm.
job. And I was being respectful,
Yeah.
wasn't being returned.
Yeah.
Art gave me a lot of freedom to put emotions out on paper or canvas that, I couldn't do in other ways. Um, I did a lot of therapy last year too, which was amazing. Everybody should go to therapy. Therapy is awesome. But part of the therapy was art. So we
Yeah.
would make specific things dealing with, particular emotional issues or situations to process them. And that was so helpful for me. Um, and I don't know if that worked for everybody, but for me, drawing or painting or doing something like that was great. It was very
Yeah.
tactile. It was like I can put all of the emotion that I have into this, and then it's not taking up space in here anymore.
Right.
And it's, yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Other people, you know, probably benefit from making music or film or whatever your jam is.
Yeah, there's so I think it's like any kind of creative
Yeah.
pursuit is valuable to people. And I mean, I've boldly made the statement before in the past, and I will stand by it, that I feel like if everyone in the world had the space, like, and I don't necessarily mean physical space, but I just mean the space in their lives to dedicate, a little bit, a part of their life to just like freely being creative without any kind of like constraint or like concern about the outcome, you know,
Mhm. Yeah.
that like the world's problems would just dissolve away because everybody would just all of a sudden be dealing with their stuff and also like learning about themselves and like being vulnerable. Like it's an incredibly vulnerable process to be creative, and especially then to start sharing it with people. Um, so yeah, I really, um, I mean, there's all kinds of research out there about art therapy and how beneficial it's been for like people in prisons and
Yeah.
vets and everybody, you know?
Anybody with stress.
Yeah, exactly. It's magical, I think, to
Yeah.
be able to like get into that space.